Welcome back, everybody. This is Danny Weber with Texas Coin and Bullion Trader at Texas Coin Trader on YouTube, out of Austin, Texas, suburb of Austin, Cedar Park, Texas. AustinCoinStore@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments, and share this video. We're going to talk today really quickly about coins versus bars and fractional versus whole for new stackers. Let's get right into it. Coins. The benefit of coins is typically they're legal tender if they are government coins, which can definitely make them easier to buy and sell and trade. So keep that in mind. And the two different types of coins are basically government and generics, and the generics are going to be your buffaloes, and a lot of the different mints print their own coins. I personally collect both. I think you should have a majority of the government, in my personal opinion, but that's up to everybody, depending on what you like and want to stack. Coins also have a collectability or historical value, the numismatic value, and so 90% silver, your junk silver, what's referred to as junk silver in the U.S., pre-65 coins for the most part. I was against those when I first started stacking, and just in the last couple of years I started buying them because I found some good deals. And as a stacker and a guy that likes coins, I just like looking at them, like holding them, and especially like them if they're in good shape, uncirculated or AU. So I would tell you, my preference personally is more government 1 ounce rounds, and then generics, and then 90%. Ease of liquidity. A lot of the coins, especially the 90% stuff, you can actually still use as currency. Now, you would be losing if you did that, because a 90% dime is worth much more than 10 cents on the open market, even though you can still go through people's change, and still find these things. You just would not want to use it as currency unless that was like your last resort. The other thing about liquidity and getting rid of your coins is, typical stackers or new stackers or seasoned stackers really like Eagles, Maple Leafs, Krugerrands. They're easier to sell, easier to talk about. I'm not a fan of getting these things graded, by the way. Now, if you buy them graded and somebody's already paid the $30 or $35 charge to PCGS, NCG, or NX, fine. Pick up a MS70 or a Proof, whatever you can get that's graded. But I'm not a fan of sending these off to get them graded unless there's something special about one of the government coins. Same thing with generics, obviously. Potential for a higher appreciation. When you look at the government coins, especially going back a year or two, the Eagles at one point had a $10 or $15 premium on them that the generics just weren't holding. And so typical generic premiums from dealers, both your local coin stores and online, are usually $1 or $2, potentially more depending on the shortage. Whereas Eagles are normally $2 or $3, maybe $4, and all the way up to $15 that we saw not too long ago. But those are government coins, and I don't know. There's some people that argue that you want to really have a little bit of some Maple, some Krugerrands, some Eagles, and all those. So, I'm more of a fan of trying to stay in one lane, 1 or 2 lanes. Maybe you pick up some Eagles, in addition to maybe a couple Maples, maybe a couple Krugerrands, but try to stick with one. Just get specialized on it. You'll like them. You'll have better value long term because you got stuff that you can barter with that's all the same. Fraud prevention, again, we get into the government coins are typically a little bit better in regards to the fraud prevention. But again, I talked about this in the last video. Make sure you really try to save up to get a metal tester, one of the Sigma Metalytics testers, or some other tester, so you can actually test every coin before you buy it. I don't personally buy any coin, silver or gold, unless I test it first. It's not that I don't trust anybody, but the people selling you the coins could have potentially bought fakes and they didn't know about it. So I literally just test them 100% across the board, or I don't buy them. Now, bars. Bars typically have lower premiums, making them a little bit more cost effective to stack actual ounces of silver or gold. They're a little bit bulkier than coins. One of the other things that most people don't tell you up front is that you can actually get insurance for your coin collection, whereas getting insurance for bars and bullion is much harder, if not impossible, these days. So relatively easy to get insurance for your coin collection. If you buy a bunch of coins and you've got them in your safe at home, you can get those insured. for theft or fire or other things that are covered on the policy. Whereas bullion, my dealer won't touch bullion for insurance. Bars are a little bit easier to stack. You can get Engelhardt or some of the other bars that are just made for stacking. You can also get the bars in different ounces, 1, 5, 10, 50, and 100, and anything you can, any of the private mints will make in between that. Same thing with coins, though, believe it or not. You can actually get 1, 5, and 10 ounce coins as well. Now, I haven't owned anything bigger than a 10 ounce coin, and I think most of the larger coins I've got are 5 ounces, and I think I've got like 1 roll of those. But I like those a lot. Those are fun to take out and hold in your hand and play with. Easier storage. We talked a little bit about that. Coins, if you store them the right way, I would argue that coins would be easier if you've got them in tubes and you've got them sorted and separated, which is a whole other thing. Again, if you're going to be a stacker, you're a collector, really spend some time organizing it. Put all the eagles in one tube. If you've got different years, get them sorted by years and by make. Same thing with your bars. I would say spend some time getting organized. The worst thing in the world, not that we don't get past it, but the worst thing in the world is for you to show up at a coin store trying to sell a coin collection, and somebody walks in with a box of 50 different Ziploc bags with nothing sorted. That's just coin dealers and coin buyers look at that and say, okay, I'm going to put as much work into finding out what you got as profit I'm going to make on the back end when I do buy this from you. So it's better if you're organized when you walk into coin stores with these things. And then the simplicity of bars. Typically they have very straightforward designs, and that's reflected in the premium. There's not a lot of work that goes into them. Typically they'll just be stamped with the manufacturer. You can get some colored bars. I'd recommend staying away from those because you're going to pay higher premiums on them. So difference between coins and bars. I'm more of a coin guy than I am a bar guy, just because I like the insurance aspect. I do own a bunch of bars. If I had to do it over, I'd probably buy less bars and more coins long term, even though I still have both and still buy and sell both. Fractional versus whole. Now, if anybody tells you about one or the other specifically, I would disagree with them and argue. There's a time and place to own both. The time and place to own fractional would be if you just don't have the funds to buy like a 1 ounce gold coin or 1 ounce gold bar. I'm a fan of fractional to some degree. Again, it's a small part of my collection, but I do still have quarters, 1/10 and half ounces in different metals, and I like that because it's easier to barter down the road. It's easier to trade it in if something pops up and, hey, I need $500 and all you've got is 1 ounce gold coins. You're not, you're going to have to cash that gold coin in for obviously more than $500. Whereas if you've got fractional, you can actually hit that amount both in silver and gold pretty easy. They're also easier to sell. So if you wanted to sell, just to the general public, like we talked about, gifting and bartering, I mentioned, just easier to do. And then they also diversify your stack. And again, part of this is just enjoying stacking, meaning, hey, I like the look of these coins, I like the look of these bars, and the fractionals give you that opportunity. The other thing I like about the fractionals is, you can show them to a kid or a loved one and say, hey, I'm this is your 1/10, it's going to be in the ounce, or this is your quarter, and it's not breaking the bank to purchase gifts for people in your family that you're going to store in your safe that obviously can be used in an emergency situation, but everybody feels good about the piece. Now, 1 ounces, lower premiums, and what they'll tell you about lower premiums is typically on a 10th ounce, you may pay $30, $40 for a premium on a 10 ounce. So 1 ounce of the 10s would cost you $300 or $400 in a premium versus a 1 ounce piece, maybe $100 premium or $110 premium. So overall, the fractionals are going to cost more. That's okay. When you sell it, you're actually going to sell it for a higher premium as well. So you should be fine on both sides. Simplicity and valuation, it's just easier. If you got 10 1 ounce coins, it's pretty easy to figure out what you got versus 20 fractionals that you're doing some addition. Again, not the end of the world. I suggest both. Efficiency, same thing as above. That's just simplicity. and then wider market acceptance. It is easier to sell whole ounce coins, whole 1 ounce, 5, 10 ounce coins to dealers and retail buyers just because they know what they're going to get. It's easier, and there you can test one coin versus testing 10 or 15 or 20. And a lot of times the Sigma Metalytics, when you get down to the smaller coins, you need your wands, and if you didn't bring your wands, which obviously you should, then you can't test the smaller stuff. Long story short, I would suggest stacking coins and bars. For me, I like coins a little bit more than bars. Fractional versus whole, I would suggest getting both. An easy way to do that is just allocate X number of dollars per week or per month in a pot that you can go out and buy some coins. And again, try to shop at your local coin stores, build a relationship with them so that they trust you, you trust them. If you got any other questions, reach out to me, leave some comments below if you agree or disagree with anything we've talked about today. Again, this is Danny Weber at Texas Coin and Bullion Trader at Texas Coin Trader on YouTube. Austin, Texas, austincoinstore@gmail.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.